Hi everyone, this is Arcadius and welcome back to Naval Creed. Today we'll be reviewing the Russian cruiser Mikhail Kutuzov. Now, as of right now, she is the only purchasable cruiser in the Russian tech tree. And all in all, she's not a bad ship, however she does have a kind of unique playstyle. Situated around her guns and her armor, and we'll get into those in one moment. First up though, I just want to say she is a very, very large cruiser. If you take, for instance, another matchmaking 8.5 ship, this being Takao, so you can kind of see how large Takao is, and then boom. Mikhail Kutuzov is a big ship. She's not small by any means, and that makes her an easier target to hit. So let's run through what she has to offer. She first of all has 4 triple turrets of 152mm guns. These have the ability to fire semi-armor piercing and armor piercing shells. Now, semi-armor piercing may sound similar to long fuse armor piercing, however they are different in the fact that they don't penetrate as easily as long fuse armor piercing, and they also have a slight fire chance of 5.8%. You're not going to get a lot of fires using it, but there's still the possibility. Armor piercing is good on broadside and cruisers, and semi-armor piercing, it's good on angled targets, like if you're shooting a target like this or from long range aiming at the superstructure or the upper belt, it's definitely good there. It's very situational, and you have to play around with it to see when semi-armor piercing works and when it does not. She has secondaries on the side, 3 double 100mm guns. She also has 1 quintuple torpedo launcher on each side. That goes out to a range of 8 kilometers with 15,000 damage each at 65 knots. However, it's only 0.5 rounds per minute. So they are kind of slow to reload, and the angles are not very good. She does have AA, and you can build her as a full AA ship. However, her good AA damage only goes out to about 3.5 kilometers without any buffs. So unless you build full AA, you're not really going to get the advantage, though she does come up with an elite anti-air barrage. But even when you do use it, you barely get any planes, or at least that's how I see it in my games. I do have mine spec for accuracy, because you do want to stay at range with a ship. And the reason why is because you only have 100mm of belt armor. That's it, 4 inches for this large and in charge cruiser. And she is very easily citadelable, and she can be seen from the moon practically. So you do always want to play with your islands, stay at range, use your maneuverability. She is quite fast at 33 knots, but still, you're going to be shot at, but you don't want to be hit, or you want to angle enough so you don't take major damage. Now that you know a little bit about the ship, let's toss her into the game and see how she does. And here we have ourselves a game. 5 battleships, 4 cruisers, and 2 destroyers. So no carrier, which is kind of good in this regards because, like I said, she's not very good against carriers. However, there are a lot of battleships, and she does not take kindly to 16-inch guns. Though she is very, very effective against light and heavy cruisers with her armor piercing. I'm going to start off with semi-armor piercing, mainly because I don't know what kind of target I'll be seeing first, and you kind of treat it as high explosive, except it's less fire and more armor piercing, I guess you could say. Gun angles are really, really good, as you can see. If you stay at this angle, really good front angles. I'm sure I'll be able to show you the rear angles. However, the torpedo angles, as you can see, are quite bad. You do have to give quite a bit of broadside for them to be launched. But they're more of a last-ditch effort than anything. She does have infinite anti-air barrages. And my speed and health are more than normal due to some buffs I've applied, so she does not come like this when you first purchase her. Now the special thing, so high explosive shells are orange, armor piercing shells are white, long fuse armor piercing shells have a blue tinge to them, and semi-armor piercing shells are green. So if you see green shells coming at you in a game, it's from this ship. And currently she's the only ship in the game that can use semi-armor piercing shells. Now, Naval Creed did say, or have a little message about upcoming Russian cruisers. No idea when they're going to be out. I don't have access to that information. But I do wonder if they're going to follow the, I guess you can say, idea or testbed of Mikhail Kutuzov and having semi-armor piercing shells instead of high explosive. It would definitely be interesting. Now you can see how effective the semi-armor piercing was against that destroyer. Let's try another few volleys on Akazuki. Now the shell velocity of these guns is 950 meters per second, and it is very, very fast. And you can see there, I did get a fire this time. So it's not impossible, just not likely. And you do get overpens, but you do get normal pens with semi-armor piercing, and it does quite a bit of damage. Now, 950 meters per second may seem fast, and it is, but at range, the shell drag does seem to be quite a bit, and your accuracy can kind of go wonky. Like I said, I do have accuracy added on my ship right now, so it is buffed. In this case, I would use armor piercing, so I switch over, but you can still see semi-armor piercing to the upper belt, 11,000 damage and a fire. Now I also have a buff to my fire chance, so if this was just a fresh out of the box Mikhail Kutuzov, it's possible that you would only have maybe one fire, that's it. Returning to the secondaries, as they open up here, they may be only 100mm guns, but they do go out to a range of 6 kilometers, and they are extremely accurate. You see how accurate these are? The only problem is that, like I said, most of the time they just shatter. Yeah, so I'm kind of getting focused here, and I don't like that. There's so many fresh targets. Let's see if we can put a salve into this monitor. It's really good at crushing light cruisers like that. 5 citadels right there. Though on ships like Alaska, you're not going to get any citadels. Or at least not easily. I don't think I've citadel Alaska in this ship. You just stay at range and pepper away with your semi-armor piercing and armor piercing. With your shell velocity, you are able to accurately land shells. And I think she's going to go down before I can shoot again. So we're going to switch to semi-armor piercing and see how it does on bow-in targets. The Mino's still alive. But we're gonna... Let's show how the semi-armor piercing does on bow-in battleships. So you would be able to shoot armor piercing at this Missouri here, and it would just ricochet off. But with semi-armor piercing, you're able to get relatively decent hits and start fires. So it still has the same effective playstyle as high explosive, but it has its ups and downs as well. Like I said, it's best used at the upper belt or the superstructure. If you do go for the main belt, it will just shatter. I'm going to stay on this side of the island and pepper them some more. Another fire. Now I could switch to armor piercing and shoot this Iowa, but I want to see if I can use my torpedoes on her. Now with both these battleships focused on this Missouri, I am alright now, and if need to I can duck behind the island on my left here. And with my good gun angles, I just got annihilated. I can do this. Now I'm going to switch over to armor piercing because the angle is good enough now that I can get through the bow underneath the front turrets here. And you can see, with a 152mm shell, I'm able to citadel battleships if you aim it correctly. Pretty accurately too, that's quite a bit of damage. And with that, she should be sunk. Once she sunk already, switch back to semi-armor piercing for the line here. And like I said earlier, just stay at range and shoot as many times as you can. Your torpedoes are a last-ditch effort. You do not want to focus on them no matter what. This thing is really good on battleships, but on the other hand, battleships are really good on you as well. I'm going to switch to armor piercing, even though it is 13 kilometers away. I'm going to cap this base here. Semi-armor piercing was good. Let's see if we can hit the nose. Now I haven't been shot at a citadel at 12 kilometers. Here we go. I haven't been shot at by any battleships, mainly because these are bots. But if this was actual player, I would not be giving this kind of broadside to this ship. Any experienced player would see this cruiser and only see citadels. They wouldn't see a ship. So you do have to keep that in mind when you're playing. You cannot just lounge around the map. You have to use the map to your advantage. Double citadel. Nice. And then there's only this side. Oh no, this is actually a really good game. Now that it's kind of at an angle, I expect most of these shells to ricochet. Yeah, 7 ricochets. But with semi-armor piercing, most of them penetrate, and I was even able to destroy a secondary gun. Double fire. Most of those ricocheted. That's alright, because she should be sunk with this volley. Secondary hit. A secondary kill. That's funny. Alright. So, there was the game. Relatively good game, honestly, too. 276,000 damage, 4 ships sunk, 425 shell hits, 11 citadels, 7 fires, 2 occupied bases, and 11 secondary hits. The ship is privy to the free XP bonus, so you can grind free XP with her. And like I said, she is a really, really fun ship. She just has that special kind of gameplay. That being said, do I recommend her? It depends. Like, it goes back to some of the other cruisers like Algerie. If your playstyle is very, very aggressive, no, this is not an up close and personal cruiser. If you do that, you're gonna die. You're the size of a battleship, and you have the armor of a heavy armor destroyer, I guess. Barely anything at all. That being said, if you are good as a long range sniper that just loves farming battleships and just annihilating the occasional destroyer or cruiser that's giving you broadside, then yes, the ship is for you. Honestly, she's still one of my favorite ships. I do play her quite a bit. But like I said, she does have that main weakness of having a lot of broadside and only a little bit of armor. So you do have to play her carefully. That being said, like I said, I do recommend her. She's a great fun ship, and I do look forward to more Russian cruisers in the future. And with that, I'm going to wrap up this video. Thank you for watching, and take care.